Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be predicting how I believe Hansi will be lining up in this up-and-coming 2024-2025 season with this new Barcelona squad, obviously his first season in charge. A lot of you guys who are OG viewers of this channel might be thinking right about now, Michi, you lazy bum, you're recycling content, I fucking hate you, you're the worst person ever. And honestly, bro, I gotta say a couple of things. Number one, please don't be mean to me, okay? I'm a human being. And number two, you're fucking wrong, okay? You're wrong. You're just not right. I'm not recycling content. This video is a brand new idea because the video that I made in May was called My Ideal Barca Starting 11 in 2024-2025, okay? Get it right, okay? I don't know if your memory's a little bit shaky, but get it right. That's the video that I made back in May. This is a different video. This is not my ideal Barca Starting 11. This is how I predict Hansi Flick will line up. Okay, and that video that I made back in May, we obviously still had transfer targets that we were looking forward to. You know, like in that video, I had Subimendi, I had Nico Williams, and it looks like to all of our fucking disappointments as Barca fans, neither of those fucking guys are coming. Subimendi's for sure not coming, and Nico Williams, it's looking less and less likely by the day that he's going to be a Barca player next year. In that video, I basically acted like Hansi Flick, Joan Laporta, and Deco. You know, I kept it somewhat realistic with the transfer target because I thought getting a pivot and a fucking winger was realistic. But to my surprise, obviously, Barca, nothing is certain because we're not getting a pivot or a winger this transfer window. We're getting Dani Olmo. That's where a big signing is going to be. And I'm losing faith because, again, I'm making this video right now. It's July 30th. And, you know, the transfer window ends in a month. And all we've done for this whole transfer window is dick ride Dani Olmo. We're probably only going to sign Dani Olmo. We're not going to bring in Nico Williams or Subimendi or Merino. We're just going to get Dani Olmo. So again, with that information that we have right now, because Barca are probably going to have the same squad that we have now with just a couple players from La Masia here and there, I'm going to build how I believe Hansi Flick will line up this up-and-coming year. Again, I understand that guys like Frankie de Jong, Araujo, and Pedri are not going to be available for the beginning of the season, and they're basically never available anyway, but that's besides the point. I'm gonna be building this as like the full strength starting 11. Like if Barcelona had a hopefully a UCL final tomorrow, I dream about that, by the way. Barca had a UCL final tomorrow, and we had every player available. How would I line up? How I believe Hansi, not me, fuck, I gotta get that right. How I believe Hansi Flick will set up the team, and that's why I'm using his formation, the 4-2-3-1. Usually, I like to use the 4-3-3 when I'm building lineups because that is my preferred formation. But again, we know Hansi Flick is probably gonna use the 4-2-3-1 of Barca with a double pivot. So again, I'm gonna be predicting how I believe Hansi Flick will be lining up. Whatever you guys agree or disagree with, please let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, man, let's start building this lineup right now. Starting off with the goalkeeper, it's obviously going to be Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who's going to be the keeper for Barca this up-and-coming year. I know a lot of Barca fans don't want him to be the keeper next year, but, you know, we don't have a better option. Who else are you going to bring in that's not ter Stegen, that's actually going to come in and do a good job? You know, good goalkeepers are not really out there on the market. Now, I believe Barca can go out and get a better keeper next year because I don't want to see ter Stegen wearing a Barca kit next season. I think it should be his last year as a Barca player, like a lot of players on this team. I think this year should be the last year for a lot of players on this current squad, and ter Stegen is one of them. But yeah, for me, this season it's going to be ter Stegen because Barca are not linked to any other keepers. And honestly, bro, he's still somewhat serviceable. So you keep ter Stegen in goal. At right back, it's obviously going to be Jules Koundé, who I think Hansi Flick is going to start because he has to start him. He's the best right back in the world, in my opinion, right now, defensively, obviously. Not overall, but defensively, he's the best defensive right back in world football. And he showed it last year when he was asked to play that position. And like I've said multiple times already, held Mbappe in check, dealt with Vini really, really well, and had an amazing Euro campaign at right back. So again, for me, Araujo, what is this? Look at this, guys. What is this? Oh, a grill. Save 25. Is this a save 25%? Fuck you. I don't want to see this shit anymore. I'm sorry about the ad, by the way, guys. You know, I gotta make money somehow. I'm just adding ads on the screen right now. But anyway, besides the point, Koundé to me is gonna be a right back. Like I said, to me, Araujo, I'm counting him in right now because once he's healthy, he's gonna be a starter for Barca. I believe Araujo will be the other center back, as he should be, because he's still one of the best in the world. Again, coming off a shaky season, which he wasn't great in. But again, I think once he comes back fully healthy, which is gonna be playing in December, which is a long time from now. But again, once he comes back healthy, I believe he's gonna be a valuable, a very important piece of this team, like he has been throughout his time at Barca. The other center back is going to be Pau Cubarsí, who obviously, like, I would put Christensen in there. I think they're going to alternate, but I think that Hansi Flick will start Pau Cubarsí because I think he's a good profile for that team, and obviously a guy who's very good at playing out from the back and who's continued to grow, man. Every game that he played for Barca, he just got better and better. So I believe that Hansi Flick will like to use a lot of his, I believe Hansi Flick will be attracted to Pau Cubarsí's profile because, like I said, he is a really, really good ball-playing center back, and he can help play that high line that Hansi Flick likes to play. And also Christensen can do the same as well, by the way. Christensen is amazing, but I think think Hansi Flick is putting a lot of emphasis, like we've seen already in multiple press conferences, in the La Masia talents. I think he wants those guys to obviously grow and be the foundation for this team for the future. Again, hopefully under Hansi Flick, hopefully he's at Barca for a long time. So I think he's going to give a lot of priority to those La Masia kids, and that's why I think he's going to start Pau Cubarsí over Christensen. But again, it's going to be an alternating thing. I think Christensen will start some games. I think Cubarsí will start some games, like it was under Xavi. Xavi didn't start one specifically. I mean, he mostly started Cubarsí towards the end, but again, Christensen got minutes all the time and started when we needed him to, and is still one of the best in the world in my opinion. So again, it's not a bad problem to have. Barca have a lot of good center back options, which to me obviously is helpful. And then at left back, I don't know if we're going to bring back Cancelo. I want to see Hector Ford get more playing time on this team. That's obviously very important to me. But it's going to be, I don't know, I started typing Cancelo. It's going to be Alejandro Valde, who is just, where the fuck is Valde? There he is. Who's just perfect for this Hansi Flick system. Like we saw under, obviously, Bayern Munich under Hansi Flick, and the development that Alphonso Davies had under him. And, they're not the same player, obviously not even, they're similar players stylistically. Valde and Alphonso Davies, both very pacey, and both guys who like to get forward on that left-hand side. But again, not the same player, but again, very similar profiles. And I believe the Hansi Flick is, he's salivating. That sounds kind of weird. I know it sounds gross, but again, I think he's salivating because I think he knows the potential that, having a good Valde. I think having Alejandro Valde be good on this team, like and be serviceable like he was, not just serviceable, be an elite fullback like he was when Barca won the league. It can unlock so many things for this Barca squad this up and coming year, and for that Hansi Flick system, because we know the fullbacks are imperative, and you need fullbacks who can get forward in that system. Again, Koundé is not the best thing going forward. I mean, he's not known for being an offensive fullback per se, like a Trent or like a Dani Alves back in the day, or like a Marcelo. But he is a guy who we saw last year had that connection with Lamine Yamal on the right hand side, and who can make things happen. He can play those balls into the final third sometimes as well. So I think Koundé will be good enough for that. But I think Valde, I think he's going to be a guy who's going to unlock so many great things for that Hansi Flick system. If again he can regain the form that he had a couple years back, like I said, under Xavi when Barca won the league. So that's going to be my defense, and I think that's a pretty standard defense. I think when I did my Barca ideal starting 11, this is the defense that I have. This is the same exact defense that I had. I think maybe I had did I have Valde? Yeah, I had Valde over Cancelo because I was sick and tired of fucking Cancelo. This to me is Barca's best backline. Again, if you want to replace Cubarsí with Christensen, that's fine. This is just how I believe Flick will do it. I think he's going to play Cubarsí, and then we're going to move on to the midfield again. Flick likes to play that double pivot. One of those pivots is probably going to be, he's going to be Frenkie de Jong once he's healthy, because he's a guy who can fill that role. Obviously, he's a lot better playing in a double pivot than a single pivot, because Frenkie de Jong in a single pivot is just really, that's not where he thrives. He's just not great at it. And we saw it last year with Barca. He wasn't great playing in that single pivot, and most of the time Barca were caught out in transition. And again, Frankie's he's good at ball recovery, but it's not what he's best at, man. Frenkie de Jong is good if you give him the ball and let him just go forward, let him carry the ball and have someone that can back him up. Because if he loses the ball, then you're fucked. You have no cover. But if you can have a double pivot, if you can place him with another pivot, obviously you can kind of who can back him up, then he's golden, because he is one of the best. He's one of the best players in Europe at progressing the ball forward, and his numbers back that up. Then as the other midfielder, I would have İlkay Gündoğan, who I know Barca are looking to get rid of. I think Flick's gonna have, I gotta get that right. I think Flick is gonna have İlkay Gündoğan as the other pivot, because he's still really good, and Gündoğan can fill a role in every position in the midfield. In my opinion, he can play if you want him as an 8, he can play as a 6, he can even play as a 10 if you want him to, honestly, because the guy's so fucking good. Again, I wouldn't love him as a 10, but he can play that position if you want him to. And I think Gündoğan is a guy who, again, playing those two guys in a double pivot, having one go forward and one stay back, or the other one go forward and the other one stay back, again, you can alternate here and there. But I think that, sorry about the ad again, by the way, guys. But I think that this double pivot could work. I think this double pivot could 100% work, because I do think, while it does lack some defensive cover, a lot of it actually, because neither of these guys are particularly great at defensively. Again, we don't have any other fucking options, man. Who are you gonna play there? You could replace Frenkie de Jong with Gavi, but I don't think Hansi Flick is gonna bench İlkay Gündoğan, who was one of our best players last year. I think he's gonna play this. I think he's gonna play this double pivot. And again, am I excited to see this in a night against maybe Real Madrid, when they have that much pace and firepower going forward? Probably not, but again, I'm a lot more confident in this than having Romeu back there as a single pivot. You know what I mean? Or having Christensen, who's great, granted, but having him as a single pivot. Because again, I think a double pivot can work, and both of these guys possess very different skill sets, and I think that they can complement each other fairly well. So for me, again, we can't do anything else. But if it was up to me, I would have Mikel Merino and Frenkie de Jong. If it was up to me, I would have Onana and Frenkie de Jong, or Subimendi and Frenkie de Jong, or you fucking pick and somebody and Frenkie de Jong. But again, I'm not writing the checks for Barca. I wish I was. I don't have that kind of money, guys, unfortunately. Or maybe even fortunately, I don't know. But anyway, that's going to be my midfield. I think that's how Hansi Flick is going to set it up. I think he's going to have İlkay Gündoğan and Frenkie de Jong, kind of like his version of Goretzka and Kimmich. Frenkie de Jong is Kimmich, and then Gündoğan will probably be Goretzka. And then we're going to move on to the front three. At the right wing, it's not really a contest. It's going to be Lamine Yamal. I mean, the kid is just fucking insane. The fact that he's 17 years old already has like a cemented spot in that Barca team. I mean, it's obviously going to be Lamine Yamal. I don't even have to spend time on this, man. Lamine Yamal is going to be the starter for Barcelona at the right wing. And yeah, there's no really question about it. At the left wing, again, we're not getting Nico, in my opinion. If it was Nico, I'd put Nico at the left wing. That would be my dream. But again, the more time that goes by, the less confident I am that Barcelona are going to sign Nico Williams. So because of that, I'm going to put in Rafinha, who is still really, really fucking good. And look, man, if we don't get Nico, I'm not that... Look, I'll be pissed because I really want Nico at the club, and I think he can do so much for us. I think he could add so much more depth. And I think obviously having depth in football currently and always is really, really important because players get injured, and you want as many good players on your team as possible, especially when you're trying to contend for all the biggest trophies, because we know throughout the course of the season, players get hurt and, things happen, wear and tear. But again, for me, I'm still confident in Rafinha. I think I'm one of the few Barca fans that actually likes Rafinha because I think he's an amazing player. And I think last year he showed it. Everybody said he can't play on the left. Played on the left and played amazing. Played on the left and played fucking amazing for the final months of the year. He was our best player against PSG. He was amazing against Napoli, playing on the left-hand side. Again, with another fucking ad. I'm sorry. So again, for me, Rafinha, I have full confidence in him to play on the left and just be a wrecker like he was last year. I think this season, with all the Rafinha's coming off a year where he was so fucking good, and then this year there's already rumors about selling him. I think he's gonna have that mentality of like, bro, you guys. I think he's gonna come into the season with a vengeance. I think Hansi Flick is gonna play Rafinha at left wing because again, what other option do you have? Are you gonna play Ansu at left wing? Are you gonna start Ferran Torres at left wing? Are you gonna bring back Joao Felix from loan and start him at the left wing? Please no. Please no. Let's not do that. So again, Rafinha for me, I think that's how Hansi Flick is gonna set it up. Then at the 10. Something that I'm really excited to see is Pedri. Pedri at the 10. Again, not like an out-and-out fucking, not like he's not going to be like a Maradona type of 10. But I think I do want to see Pedri in a more advanced role. We saw him at the Euros play more advanced, and he was actually really, really good in my opinion. Now, Pedri wasn't the best at the Euros, didn't have his best campaign up until he got hurt. But I do think that, for me, I would love to see Pedri at the 10. I think Hansi Flick can do a lot of things to maybe facilitate, to help him kind of ease his way into a new position. It's not really a new position, but Pedri's not usually playing that far up the pitch, especially under Xavi, he wasn't. Now again, if we sign Dani Olmo, you could play Dani Olmo at the 10, and he would actually be really, really good. I think Pedri's a better player. Now, who's better at the 10? I would say, I think it's close. I just think Pedri's a better player. I think Pedri, if you give him the time to adapt to a new position, he'll be better than Dani Olmo is. And again, for me, Dani Olmo's not going to be in the starting 11. That's why to me it's so baffling spending all that money on a player who's not going to be in the starting, who to me wouldn't even make Hansi Flick's starting 11. I think Hansi Flick is going to start Pedri once he's healthy. Now, if you sign Dani Olmo and Pedri's not yet healthy, then and you're obviously going to start Dani Olmo. Or maybe you can even, I don't even think Gavi, no, Gavi can't play as a 10 in my opinion. But you could try Gavi as a 10. I mean, Gavi can also play out wide sometimes. Maybe Hansi Flick will ditch Rafinha and play Gavi. But again, I think that he's going to play Rafinha because I think he saw him coming off a good year and had also a really good Copa America campaign. So again, for me, Pedri's going to play as a 10. I think that would be Barca's front, not front three, but the first part of the front four, the three behind the striker. And then at striker, again, this is not my ideal starting 11. It's not going to be who I want to play. It's going to be who Hansi Flick's probably going to play, and that's going to be Robert Lewandowski, who's still Barca's option going forward. That's still Barca's target man number 9. We're not going to play Roque, which, to my chagrin, I guess, or something that I want to see was Roque play at striker. And when I made my Barca ideal starting 11, I had Roque as my striker. But again, he's not gonna play Roque. I think Hansi Flick has come out and said how he trusts Lewandowski, and God forbid anybody benches Lewandowski, bro. God forbid anybody benches this washed fucking aging player, because we know he's got to he's got to play, bro. He's got to play. He's got to do his TikTok. He's got to do his little celebration, and he's got to get his Pichichi award. But yeah, man, that's how I believe Hansi Flick will line up with Barca this up and coming year. I think this is a pretty standard lineup for Barca. I think if this is a fully healthy team, this is a really good team. Again, the striker concerns me. The goalkeeper is iffy, but other than that, bro, I have faith in every single player in this squad. I honestly do. Again, am I upset that Barca are not really going out of their way to fill positions of need, like the DM and the wingers? Yes, because you need depth, like I said. But like I said, for the most part, when I look at the squad, apart from the striker and the goalkeeper, you can't really point to me and say this is a team that can't go far in the UCL or can't win a league title or can't do really well in the league. I don't believe that at all. And again, injuries are going to happen. That's part of football. Every team deals with injuries. We saw Real Madrid last year have a bunch of injuries. Man City, Arsenal, all these teams deal with injuries, especially with the way that the football calendar is so congested nowadays. Players are going to miss time. We know that. And again, a lot of these Barca players are going to miss time when the season starts. This is not going to be the starting 11 that Hansi Flick uses in his first game in charge, first official game in the league, because again, a lot of these players are not going to be available. Like I said, Araujo and Koundé and Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, most notably. But I look at this team and I'm pretty confident in this team. Again, do I wish Barca could put their pedal to the metal a little bit more because you are trying to compete with some of the big boys in Europe? Yes. But again, if you would add Nico Williams to this team, have Roque at striker, and again, I'm not even too mad about their striker. I'm mostly thinking about the striker. You have a team that can actually, like I said, do really, really well. And again, I think this lineup, if Barca played a UCL final, we threw out this lineup in there, I would feel pretty confident. But again, we're still in. I'm talking about UCL final. It's not even August yet, so. A man can dream, but again, this is my prediction of how I think Hansi Flick will line up with Barca this up and coming year. Again, whatever you guys agree or disagree with, any problems you guys have with this lineup, let me know in the comment section down below. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.